Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly happy without needing anything more than what you already had? No next goal, no future promotion, no big break coming down the line. Just contentment. That's exactly where Neil Pasricha starts in the happiness equation. He flips the common logic on its head. Most of us think, if I work hard, I'll be successful. And if I'm successful, then I'll be happy. Right? But Pasricha says, hold on, that's actually backwards. What if happiness comes first? Now don't skip this part, this is where the real transformation begins. Pasricha introduces a simple but powerful idea. Happiness isn't something you chase after success. It's the foundation that makes success possible. That's the secret. You don't wait for a better job, a bigger house or perfect timing. You learn to create happiness first, right where you are. He introduces a formula. Want nothing plus do anything equals have everything. And at first glance, that might sound abstract, but it's actually one of the most freeing concepts you'll ever hear. Wanting nothing doesn't mean having no goals. It means not being controlled by your cravings. It means appreciating this moment, being deeply grateful, and truly realizing, that nothing external will ever complete you. Pasricha gives us practical tools to train our brains for this kind of mindset. Like starting the day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Every day, it rewires your mind to see abundance, not lack. He even suggests doing small acts of kindness, not because you have to, but because it reminds your brain that you're already enough. And here's the kicker, when you stop clinging, when you stop needing, when you stop chasing, you free up your energy to create, to grow, and to live with clarity and purpose. If you've ever felt trapped on the treadmill of more, this section might just be the mental reset you didn't know you needed. Pause for a moment, breathe, and ask yourself, what if I could be happy before anything changes? And hey, if this is hitting home so far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the book using the link in the description. The insights only get deeper from here. Ready for the next breakthrough? Let's keep going. Here's a big question. Do you live your life for yourself or for someone else's expectations? I know, that might hit hard, but take a moment to sit with it. Because in this section, Neil Pasricha gets real about something we all face, but rarely talk about openly. Living for approval. Now listen closely, because if you stop here, you'll miss one of the most liberating ideas in the whole book. Pasricha says the first step toward real, lasting happiness is learning to stop trying to be liked. That's right, let go of the need for approval. Let go of trying to please everyone. Let go of obsessing over how you're perceived. Because here's the truth. You can do everything right and still be misunderstood. You can give your all and still be criticized. So why waste your energy bending yourself to fit someone else's mold? Think about how much time we spend filtering ourselves on social media, in meetings, even in personal conversations. We show the version we think people want to see. But in doing that, we lose touch with the version of ourselves that's real. And this isn't just philosophy. Pasricha gives real-world tools to start letting go of this mindset. One of them is called the Saturday morning test. It's simple. Ask yourself, what would I do if it was Saturday morning, nobody was watching, and I had nothing to prove? Would you go for a walk? Would you write? Would you cook, dance, sit in silence, or read? That answer, that version of you, is where your joy lives. That's the core of your happiness. Don't skip past this. Because this moment right here could be the shift that sets you free. Real happiness starts with being unapologetically, fully, you. That's the first thing you must do. Strip away the masks. Quiet the noise. Get honest. Here's a question I want you to sit with. Who are you when no one is watching? And hey, if this insight sparked something in you, now's a great time to drop a comment below and share what your Saturday morning looks like. Let's build a community around real happiness, not performance. And remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more soul-deep summaries like this, and if this book speaks to you, the link to get your own copy is waiting in the description. What comes next might just blow your mind. Let's move further. Here's something that might flip your idea of success upside down. Neil Pasricha introduces a formula that seems almost too simple to be true. Want nothing plus, do anything equals, have everything. Let that sink in for a moment. What if the real secret to having everything isn't about chasing more, but wanting less? Think about it. How often do we get caught in that trap of, I'll be happy when I get the job, when I lose the weight, when I make 6 figures? But Pasricha says, the moment you stop tying your happiness to outcomes, and instead focus on doing what you love, without attachment, that's when you unlock true joy. This isn't about becoming lazy or giving up on ambition. It's about dropping the burden of needing things to look a certain way. Want nothing. Detach from the pressure. Then, do anything fully, passionately, freely. And that, right there, leads to having everything. Not externally, but internally. If you're feeling that tug in your chest, that's the start of freedom. Stick around, because what comes next might just be the most powerful shift you make this year. Let's be honest, how many times a week do you say, "I'm just so busy"? Maybe even every day? But what if being busy is more of a choice than a condition? In this section, Neil Pasricha drops a truth bomb that's equal parts simple and life-changing. You become less busy, not by doing less, but by deciding what matters more. That's it. He introduces the idea of the three-bucket system. One bucket for your personal life, one for your work, and one for your relationships. Now here's the kicker. You can only fill two at a time. That's the limit. So the question becomes, what are your top two buckets right now? If you keep pouring into everything, you'll end up empty. But if you prioritize just two intentionally, your focus sharpens, your energy lifts, and suddenly, life feels lighter. Here's the twist. The people who get the most done are usually the ones who say no the most. Not out of selfishness, but because they know what they're saying yes to. If you've been running on fumes lately, don't skip the next part. This is where your time and your sanity start coming back to you. Here's something that might sound cliché at first, but Neil Pasricha means it in a deeply transformative way. Just be you, not the version of you that's trying to impress everyone. Not the version that's hustling to prove something. Just you. Now I know, that's easier said than done. But the truth is, we spend so much of our lives wearing masks. Trying to be what our parents wanted, what society expects, what social media celebrates. And in all that pretending, we lose touch with who we really are. Pasricha encourages us to drop the performance, to stop trying to be somebody and start being real. Authenticity isn't just nice, it's liberating. And the wildest part? People are actually drawn to the real you, far more than the polished version you've been trying to maintain. He says, being you is the fastest way to be happy. Why? Because it takes no effort to be who you already are. You stop striving. You start living. So ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly, unapologetically yourself? Stick with me, because up next is a lesson that might completely change how you think about retirement, success, and the way you live your life. Here's something that might shock you a little. Neil Pasricha says we need to retire the idea of retirement. Yep, that thing so many of us are working toward, the promise of someday when life finally gets good. Pasricha wants us to question it. Because the truth is, waiting for retirement to start living is like waiting for the last chapter of a book before you begin reading. It just doesn't make sense. He explains that if you spend 40 years doing something you don't enjoy, just so you can maybe enjoy the last 10 or 15 years, that's not a great deal. Instead, what if you found ways to live with joy right now? He talks about designing a life where work is meaningful, not just tolerable, where fulfillment isn't delayed, it's created, today. And here's a powerful point. Happiness is not the result of success. It's the fuel for it. You don't become happy when you succeed. You succeed because you're happy doing what you love. If that hit you in the chest, you're not alone. This is one of those moments where everything shifts. Don't go anywhere, because in the next part, we unpack what it really means to make your own lucky breaks. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm just not lucky"? Neil Pasricha tackles this myth head-on. He argues that luck isn't some random stroke of fortune. It's often the result of action, attitude, and preparedness. Think about it. How many times have you seen people waiting for the perfect moment or some magical opportunity that never comes? Pasricha encourages us to stop waiting and start creating. When you show up consistently, work hard, and stay open, luck finds you. He shares real-life examples of people who made their own luck. Like the musician who practiced every day in a tiny garage, ignored the naysayers, and eventually got discovered. Or the entrepreneur who turned rejection after rejection into lessons, until a single yes changed everything. Here's the key takeaway. Luck is the intersection of preparation and opportunity. But preparation means effort, persistence, and sometimes failing spectacularly. If you're stuck waiting for your break, don't miss this next part. It's about how gratitude can transform the way you see your journey, and why being thankful can actually open more doors than you think. You might have heard that gratitude is good for you, but Pasricha shows us why it's actually a game changer when it comes to happiness. Here's the thing. When we focus on what we don't have, our minds spiral into negativity. We feel stuck, frustrated, and often overwhelmed. But shifting our attention to what is going well creates a whole new mental landscape, one full of possibility, peace, and yes, joy. Pasricha shares simple yet powerful ways to practice gratitude every day. It could be writing down 3 things you're thankful for each morning, or just pausing during your day to notice a kind word, a good cup of coffee, or a moment of calm. He says that gratitude doesn't just change your mood, it rewires your brain to look for the positive, even in tough times. And when your brain does that, your whole life starts to shift. If you stop now, you'll miss one of the most uplifting insights of the whole book, how gratitude can turn any bad day around, even when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's easy to want to avoid discomfort, who doesn't? But Pasricha challenges us to rethink how we see struggle. Instead of something to escape, what if struggle was the fuel for growth? He explains that the moments when life feels hardest, those failures, setbacks, and frustrations, are often the very things that shape us into who we're meant to be. Think about athletes who push through pain to become champions, or artists who wrestle with doubt but create masterpieces anyway. Pasricha encourages embracing the discomfort rather than running from it. Because when you face challenges head-on, you build resilience, character, and a deeper understanding of yourself. He shares examples of people who've transformed their toughest experiences into stepping stones to success. Not by pretending everything is perfect, but by acknowledging pain and moving forward anyway. Don't skip this part. This is where the real transformation begins. Your greatest growth often hides in the struggle. In a world obsessed with more, Pasricha flips the script. He reminds us that sometimes, less is truly more, especially when it comes to happiness. Think about how cluttered lives can feel. Too many possessions, too many obligations, too many distractions pulling us in every direction. Pasricha encourages simplifying, not just to clear space, but to create room for what really matters. He talks about how people who intentionally reduce their commitments, declutter their environments, or say no, more often find they have more energy, clarity, and peace. When you strip away the excess, your appreciation for the simple things grows: a quiet morning, genuine conversation, or a walk in nature. One powerful example he shares is of a family who sold almost everything and chose to live more intentionally, and found deeper connection and happiness as a result. This isn't about deprivation, it's about prioritizing what truly feeds your soul. If you've made it this far, you've unlocked a crucial insight. Happiness often isn't about chasing big goals, but about savoring small moments. Stick around, because next, we'll explore how to cultivate a mindset that keeps that happiness alive, no matter what life throws at you. Life will throw curveballs, that's guaranteed. Pasricha teaches us that happiness isn't about avoiding difficulties, but about how we respond to them. He explains that cultivating a resilient mindset means training yourself to see setbacks not as permanent failures, but as temporary obstacles. It's about believing you have the strength to bounce back, learn, and keep moving forward. Pasricha gives real-life examples of people who faced huge losses or hardships, yet managed to find new purpose and joy by shifting their perspective. Instead of being crushed by challenges, they used those moments as opportunities to grow. A key takeaway is that resilience is a muscle you build by practicing gratitude, self-compassion, and focusing on what you can control, rather than what you can't. Don't let yourself miss this part. Understanding and nurturing resilience might be the single most powerful skill you develop on your happiness journey. Sometimes, happiness feels like a big distant goal, something we can only achieve once everything is perfect. Pasricha challenges this idea by shining a light on the power of small wins. He explains that progress, no matter how tiny, fuels motivation and joy. Each little accomplishment, whether it's finishing a project, getting out of bed on a tough day, or choosing kindness, deserves recognition. Pasricha shares stories of people who transform their lives by setting achievable goals and celebrating each step forward. These small victories build momentum and create a positive cycle, making bigger goals feel more attainable. It's about rewiring your brain to notice and appreciate progress, rather than only chasing big milestones. This shift creates a steady sense of accomplishment that supports long-term happiness. If you stop watching now, you'd miss one of the most uplifting insights. Happiness grows in the everyday moments, in the small successes we often overlook. One of the most freeing lessons Pasricha shares is that happiness is deeply personal. Society often pushes a one-size-fits-all idea of success, money, status, fame, but that rarely leads to lasting joy. Pasricha encourages you to step back and define what success means to you. It might be building close relationships, having more free time, pursuing a passion, or simply feeling at peace each day. He offers practical examples, like people who left high-stress jobs to prioritize family, or those who downsized their lifestyles to gain freedom and contentment. These aren't failures, they're choices that align with their true values. This is where your happiness equation truly begins to take shape, because when your goals reflect your authentic self, happiness follows naturally. Pause here and ask yourself, are you chasing someone else's dream or your own? If you've made it this far, you're already on the path to discovering that clarity. Pasricha reminds us that so often, our minds are stuck in the past or racing toward the future, and we forget the power of being fully present. Happiness lives in the now, not in regrets or worries. He talks about real people who found peace by practicing mindfulness, by simply paying attention to their breath, savoring moments with loved ones, or appreciating nature's beauty. These small shifts bring a big impact. If you stop watching now, you'd miss one of the most practical secrets to happiness: presence. When you're fully in the moment, life feels richer, less overwhelming, and more joyful. It's not about escaping reality, but embracing it with acceptance and curiosity. This awareness can transform mundane routines into meaningful experiences. Think about the last time you truly listened or noticed without distraction. Can you bring that feeling back right now? If you've made it this far, you're ready to deepen this practice. One of the most powerful tools Pasricha emphasizes is gratitude. It might sound simple or even cliché, but practicing gratitude rewires your brain to focus on what's good rather than what's missing. He shares examples of people who started daily gratitude journals, writing down 3 things they were thankful for each day. Over time, they reported feeling more optimistic, less stressed, and genuinely happier. This practice helps shift perspective, even during tough times. It doesn't erase problems but reminds you of the good that still exists. Imagine waking up and immediately thinking about what you appreciate. That small ritual sets the tone for your whole day. Don't skip this part. This is where many people experience a real breakthrough in their happiness journey. If you stop now, you'd miss the key insight that happiness isn't just about external success, but an internal attitude of appreciation. Pasricha flips the script on failure, teaching us that it's not the enemy of happiness, but a crucial part of growth. Real happiness doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from learning to embrace it, to see it as a stepping stone. He shares stories of successful people who faced setbacks and rejections, yet they used those moments to build resilience and clarity about what really mattered to them. Think about the times you failed or fell short. Did you let those moments crush you, or did you find a way to rise stronger? Pasricha challenges you to view failure not as a dead end, but as feedback. If you've made it this far, you're ready to hear this powerful truth. The road to happiness is paved with lessons learned from mistakes. That's where transformation begins. Don't underestimate how freeing it can be to stop fearing failure and start using it as fuel to drive you forward. Pasricha highlights how complexity often steals our happiness. We tend to believe that more stuff, more achievements, and busier schedules equal more happiness. But it's the opposite. He points to real-life examples of people who decluttered their lives, cut down commitments, and focused on what truly mattered. The result? They experienced a deep sense of freedom and joy. Simplifying your life isn't about giving up. It's about clearing the noise so you can amplify what makes you feel alive. If you pause here, you'll discover a truth many overlook. Less really is more. Don't miss this, because simplifying your life is one of the most practical ways to boost your happiness daily. Are you overwhelmed by your to-do list or distracted by constant noise? This part is your invitation to slow down and rediscover joy in simplicity. If you've stayed with me this far, you're already on the path to a richer, more joyful life. One of the most compelling lessons Pasricha shares is that human connection is a cornerstone of happiness. It's not the flashy achievements or material gains that bring lasting joy, but the bonds we build with others. He uses real-world examples: friends who make time for each other despite busy lives, families who prioritize shared moments, and communities that support one another in tough times. Think about your own relationships. When was the last time you truly connected, without distractions? Pasricha reminds us that these moments fuel our emotional well-being in ways money can't buy. Don't skip this part, because understanding and nurturing your relationships might just be the missing key to your happiness. If you stop now, you'll miss the most powerful insight. Happiness grows when shared. So ask yourself, how can you deepen your connections today? If you've made it this far, you're ready to embrace this vital truth. Pasricha dives deep into the power of gratitude, a simple yet profound practice that can reshape your mindset and your happiness. He shares examples of people who, even in difficult times, took moments to appreciate what they had. This act rewires their brains to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Imagine starting or ending your day by naming 3 things you're grateful for. It could be as small as a warm cup of coffee or as big as a supportive friend. This daily habit rewires your brain to notice the good, to savor the positive moments, and to build resilience against negativity. Don't underestimate this step. If you stop now, you'll miss one of the most powerful tools for lasting happiness. Have you tried a gratitude practice? How did it shift your mood or perspective? If you've made it this far, you're already taking meaningful steps toward a happier, more fulfilled life. One of the most transformative ideas Pasricha shares is the importance of living fully in the present moment. So often, we get caught up in worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, and in doing so, we miss out on the life happening right now. He points to real people who learn to pause, breathe, and truly experience what's around them. Whether it's the laughter of their kids, the taste of their food, or the calm of a quiet morning. This isn't about ignoring responsibilities but about grounding ourselves in the here and now, appreciating the small joys that often go unnoticed. If you stop now, you'll miss this vital insight. Happiness isn't waiting somewhere in the future. It's available right now when you open your eyes to it. So what's one thing you can do today to be more present? Maybe it's turning off your phone for 10 minutes or savoring a walk outside. If you've come this far, you're ready to start living more intentionally, more joyfully, and more fully. Neil Pasricha highlights the incredible power of choosing optimism. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect, but about making a conscious decision to look for the good, even in tough situations. He shares stories of people who, faced with adversity, decided to focus on what they could control and find silver linings, instead of sinking into despair. This mindset shift helped them build resilience and find happiness where others saw only hardship. Imagine waking up each morning and deciding that today you'll seek out hope and positivity, even if just in small doses. Don't miss this crucial part. If you stop now, you'll overlook one of the simplest yet most profound ways to improve your daily happiness. Ask yourself, how often do I catch myself falling into negativity? What would change if I actively chose optimism more often? If you've stayed with me till now, you're on the path to rewiring your mind for joy and success. Keep going. It's worth it. One of the hardest lessons Pasricha emphasizes is learning to release control over things beyond your reach. So many of us waste precious energy worrying about outcomes we can't change, and this only drags down our happiness. He shares powerful examples of individuals who faced uncontrollable challenges like health issues or unexpected job loss, and chose instead to focus on their response rather than the problem itself. This mental shift brought them peace and clarity. Think about your own life. What worries keep you up at night, but are out of your hands? What if you could redirect that energy into what you can influence? Don't skip this part. This is where the real transformation begins. When you let go of what you can't control, you reclaim your power to be happy in the present moment. How can you start practicing this today? Maybe by journaling your worries and consciously reminding yourself which ones are out of your control. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you're cultivating inner strength that leads to true happiness. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good habit, it's a scientifically proven way to boost happiness. Neil Pasricha stresses that actively recognizing what you're thankful for rewires your brain to focus on abundance rather than scarcity. Real-life examples from the book include people who started simple gratitude journals, jotting down 3 things they appreciated every day. Over time, they noticed a shift. Small annoyances mattered less, and moments of joy became more vivid. Imagine ending each day reflecting on what went well, instead of what went wrong. This isn't about denying difficulties, but balancing them with positivity. If you stop here, you'd miss the most powerful insight. Gratitude is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger your happiness becomes. Try it for yourself tonight. What are 3 things you're grateful for right now? If you share them in the comments, it helps build a community of positivity. If you've made it this far, keep this habit alive. It's one of the simplest ways to change your mindset and your life. Neil Pasricha reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success. It's an essential part of the journey. Too often we fear failure and avoid taking risks, but the truth is, every failure teaches us something valuable and pushes us closer to our goals. He shares inspiring examples of people who faced setbacks, whether it was losing a job, failing an exam, or experiencing personal loss. Yet, they chose to see these moments as opportunities to learn and grow. Think about a time you failed. Did it feel like the end of the world? What if it was just a necessary step towards something better? Don't skip this part. This is where many people get stuck. Learning to embrace failure can open doors to resilience and deeper happiness. Ask yourself, what lessons have my past failures taught me? How can I start viewing mistakes as part of my growth instead of a source of shame? If you've made it this far, you're developing the mindset that separates those who thrive from those who merely survive. One of the profound insights Neil Pasricha shares is that happiness often grows when we simplify clutter. In a world full of distractions, endless options, and constant pressure to do more, less can truly be more. He highlights stories of people who decluttered not only their physical spaces, but also their mental and emotional lives, letting go of unnecessary commitments, toxic relationships, and overthinking. Imagine how liberating it would feel to clear away the chaos and focus on what truly matters. It's not about perfection or doing everything right, it's about making space for peace and joy. If you stop now, you'll miss the most powerful insight. Simplicity frees up energy and attention for what genuinely lights you up inside. Try this today, pick one thing to simplify, maybe your schedule or your digital consumption, and notice how it affects your mood. If you've made it this far, like this video and subscribe for more insights that can transform your mindset and life. Neil Pasricha emphasizes that at the core of lasting happiness are the connections we nurture with others. It's not about the number of friends or followers, but the quality of your relationships, those moments of genuine connection, support, and love. He shares examples of people who prioritized spending time with family and friends, listening deeply, and showing appreciation. These simple acts create a foundation of happiness that no material success can replace. Think about your own relationships. Are you investing enough time and care into them? Or are distractions and busyness pulling you away? If you stop right here, you might miss one of the most crucial parts of happiness. People are your greatest source of joy and strength. Ask yourself, who in my life makes me feel truly seen and valued? How can I deepen those bonds starting today? If you've made it this far, you're on a powerful path to living a happier, more fulfilled life. Neil Pasricha strongly advocates for the power of gratitude as a daily practice. It's not just about saying thank you when things go well, but actively noticing and appreciating the small blessings, even amidst challenges. He shares real-life examples of people who journal their gratitude, pausing each day to reflect on moments like a warm cup of coffee, a kind word, or a simple smile that remind them of life's beauty. Imagine how your mindset might shift if you trained your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack. Don't skip this part. This is where the real transformation begins. Gratitude rewires your brain to find joy more naturally and builds resilience against stress. Try starting a gratitude journal today. Write down 3 things you're thankful for every morning or night. Notice how it affects your mood over time. If you've made it this far, you're already cultivating habits that can elevate your happiness significantly. One of the most powerful lessons Neil Pasricha shares is that failure isn't the enemy of happiness. It's often a crucial part of the journey toward it. Instead of fearing mistakes or setbacks, he encourages us to see them as opportunities for growth and learning. He points out how many successful and happy people don't avoid failure. They embrace it, extract lessons, and keep moving forward with courage. Imagine if you stopped fearing failure and started viewing it as a necessary part of your path. Would you try new things? Would you take more risks? Would you forgive yourself more easily? If you stop now, you'll miss one of the most liberating insights. Accepting failure frees you from the pressure of perfection and allows genuine happiness to take root. Think about a recent setback. How might your perspective change if you saw it as a chance to grow rather than a defeat? If you've made it this far, keep this mindset close. It will empower your journey toward lasting happiness. Neil Pasricha highlights that happiness often grows when we remove the clutter, both physical and mental, from our lives. Simplifying isn't about deprivation. It's about focusing on what truly matters and letting go of distractions. He shares stories of individuals who decluttered their homes, schedules, and even social circles, discovering that less really can be more. By clearing space, they found more room for peace, creativity, and genuine connections. Think about your own life. Are you holding on to too much stuff, commitments, or worries that don't serve your happiness? Don't miss this crucial insight. Simplifying can be a powerful step toward reclaiming your joy and mental clarity. Try a small step today. Clear out one drawer, say no to one unnecessary obligation, or take a quiet moment without screens. Notice how these actions can bring unexpected calm. If you've made it this far, celebrate that. You're learning how to cut through the noise to find deeper happiness. One of the standout ideas Neil Pasricha shares is that investing in experiences creates more lasting happiness than accumulating material possessions. Experiences like travel, concerts, or simply sharing a meal with loved ones forge memories and deepen relationships. He explains how experiences tend to provide more meaning and joy because they connect us to others and to ourselves in a way that things rarely do. Unlike material items, which can lose their luster over time, experiences become part of our personal stories. Think about the last time you did something new or memorable. How did it make you feel compared to buying something new? If you stop now, you'll miss this powerful insight that could change how you prioritize your time and money. Try this. Next time you consider a purchase, ask yourself if an experience might bring you more joy instead. If you've made it this far, you're truly starting to unlock the secrets to a happier life. Neil Pasricha emphasizes the transformative power of gratitude. He explains that actively practicing gratitude shifts our focus from what's missing or wrong to what's already good in our lives. This simple habit rewires the brain toward positivity and contentment. He shares real-life examples of people who started journaling 3 things they were grateful for each day. Over time, these people reported better moods, deeper relationships, and increased resilience against life's challenges. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly paused to appreciate the small blessings around you? Don't skip this part. This is where real transformation begins. Cultivating gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's about building a mindset that sustains happiness through ups and downs. Try it today. Write down 3 things you're grateful for right now. Notice how this changes your perspective. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're embracing a key step toward lasting happiness. Neil Pasricha explores how acts of kindness, not only to others but also to ourselves, can boost our happiness in surprising ways. He points out that when we help someone else, our brains release feel-good chemicals like oxytocin, creating what's sometimes called the helper's high. But kindness goes beyond just random acts. It's about cultivating compassion as a way of life, recognizing that every small gesture, whether a smile, a compliment, or lending an ear, builds connection and joy. Think about a time when someone's kindness lifted your spirits. How did that impact your day? Don't stop now, because if you miss this part, you'll overlook one of the simplest yet most powerful keys to lasting happiness. Pasricha also reminds us to be kind to ourselves. Self-compassion reduces stress and builds resilience, helping us bounce back when life gets tough. If you've made it this far, give yourself credit. You're opening your heart to a richer, kinder way of living. Neil Pasricha challenges the fear of failure by reframing it as an essential step towards success and happiness. He explains that failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of the journey. Each failure teaches valuable lessons and builds resilience. Think about a time when something didn't go your way. Instead of letting it defeat you, what if you saw it as a stepping stone, a chance to learn and improve? If you stop now, you'll miss the powerful insight that can change your entire approach to life's challenges. Pasricha encourages us to be curious about our failures rather than ashamed. This shift helps us grow and unlock new possibilities that fear once blocked. He gives examples of famous innovators and creators who failed multiple times before their big breakthroughs, proving that perseverance fueled by a growth mindset is crucial. If you've made it this far, you're starting to embrace a mindset that turns setbacks into setups for greater happiness. Neil Pasricha highlights the profound impact of being fully present in the moment. In today's busy world, our minds often race ahead or linger in the past, stealing us from the simple joy of now. He reminds us that happiness often hides in the little moments, a laugh with a friend, a quiet morning coffee, or the sound of birds outside. When we truly pay attention, life feels richer and more meaningful. Have you ever noticed how quickly a joyful moment slips away when you're distracted? What if you could slow down and savor it fully? Don't miss this part, because learning to be present is a skill that transforms ordinary experiences into extraordinary ones. Pasricha offers practical advice. Try mindful breathing or just pause and observe your surroundings regularly. These tiny habits anchor you in the present, reducing anxiety and increasing gratitude. If you've made it this far, well done. You're developing the most vital ingredient of happiness: presence. You've journeyed through some of the most powerful insights on happiness Neil Pasricha shares in The Happiness Equation. Remember, happiness isn't some distant goal. It's something we create every day with small choices: being present, practicing gratitude, focusing on what truly matters. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this: happiness is simple, but not always easy. It takes awareness, effort, and the courage to shift your mindset. But when you commit to that, you unlock a life filled with more joy, peace, and fulfillment. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you're already steps ahead in your journey toward inner happiness. Now, if this video inspired you, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content, and share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear what's one small change you're going to make today to boost your happiness. And if you want to dive even deeper, be sure to grab Neil Pasricha's The Happiness Equation through the link in the description. Trust me, it's a game changer. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you have the power to create your own happiness, starting right now.